about the victims every day. And I can only imagine if it was vice versa, how I would feel about it. And I just hope it's something that they could forgive.
It was a police chase from Scott County to Lexington that left 2 people dead. Earlier today, the man responsible was sentenced.
An accident in Richmond sends 2 to the hospital, including a police officer. More next.
It's another sign the bourbon business is on the rise, how an expansion could bring more jobs to the bluegrass and a boost to the economy.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
Good evening. Police and firefighters are on the scene right now of a bad crash in Boyle County.
We're taking a live look now at the scene that we have for you. We understand that 2 cars collided on Kentucky 52 just down from Goggin Lane outside of Danville. We know that there are multiple injuries and some victims were flown from the scene to the hospital. The road has been closed for more than an hour. There's no word yet on when it will reopen, but again, that is a live look at the scene there. Well, he says he is sorry for what happened. A man convicted of murder learned his sentence this afternoon. A judge sentenced Keenan McLaughlin to 17 years in prison. 2 years ago, he led police on a chase from Scott County to Lexington, hitting another car.
The 2 people in that car died. As Victor Puente tells us today at the hearing, McLaughlin asked the families for forgiveness. He has our top story at 5:30.
That crash last January killed 2 people. The man who caused it was charged with murder, but earlier today he was sentenced on manslaughter charges. At his sentencing, Keenan McLaughlin's attorney said he's been traumatized by the whole ordeal.
He doesn't even want to drive a car. He has bad dreams about this. He has what is basically PTSD related to this incident.
Last January, McLaughlin hit another car head-on while running from police. Both people in the car he hit would eventually die.
I just want to let you know that I'm very apologetic for everything that I've done, and I'm claiming responsibility for everything. I never meant or intended for any of this to happen.
That chase started as a traffic stop in Scott County. Police there say McLaughlin led them into Lexington. On US 25, McLaughlin hit another car. The driver, 62-year-old Luis Gonzalez, died at the scene. His passenger, Geneva Spencer, died a few months later. McLaughlin was arrested after a standoff on East 2nd Street.
Because at the end of the day, he's going to return to his family at some point in his life. But the families of the 2 victims will never see them again.
McLaughlin pleaded guilty to 2 counts of manslaughter, possession of heroin, trafficking heroin, and leaving the scene of an accident. The prosecutor asked the judge to sentence him to 20 years in prison. The judge gave him 17. The judge said one of the factors in that sentencing was that McLaughlin was already on probation at the time of the crash. In Lexington, Victor Puente, WKYT.
But with that 17-year sentence, he will be eligible for parole in just over 3 years.
Richmond police are investigating an officer-involved crash. That crash happened yesterday on Foxhaven Drive. Police say a truck slammed into an officer's cruiser after the driver blacked out. The truck driver then crashed into an electric pole near an automotive shop. Jordan Valines is in Richmond today talking to police about what happened.
We just heard a loud bang, like it sounded like a shotgun went off inside the shop. It was horrifying.
That sound,
Something you never forget, especially that sound.
signifying the seriousness of the accident that occurred on Foxhaven Drive,
And that was the worst part of it.
right next to Patrick Hoffman's place of work.
Somebody could have died in that wreck. It was very, very scary.
Investigators say a Richmond police officer was about to pull out onto Lexington Road when a man driving a pickup truck slammed into the back left side of the cruiser.
Spun the police cruiser 180 degrees, and then the truck struck a utility pole.
People got out and ran out and actually jerked open the truck door because the vehicle was smoking. It was on fire. So they had to get him out, and he was unconscious.
Well, as you can see here on this road where the accident happened, there aren't any skid marks, and police say the reason for that is because the older gentleman in the truck blacked out due to a medical condition and did not apply the brakes whatsoever. The accident left the police officer battered, bruised, while the other driver suffered a more serious neck injury. He's now recovering at UK Medical Center. In Richmond, Jordan Valines, WKYT.
The Richmond police officer was taken to Baptist Health Richmond after that crash. He's since been treated and released.
2 people are now in police custody in connection with the death of an Ohio man. Police say that 88-year-old William York Sr. disappeared last week from his home in Tip City, Ohio. His body was found yesterday in Boone County, Kentucky, about 85 miles south of his home. Boone County deputies discovered his remains wrapped in a sleeping bag that was found in a creek. Police are now asking the public for help to figure out how he died.
Bill was last seen sometime last week. We are trying to shore that up, and that's where the public's help is still vital to me in my investigation. If Bill was he was a regimented man. He walked often. He mowed his grass often. He was seen often in the south area of town where he lived. And obviously, at some point, those appearances stopped. And so the community can still participate in this with me by telling me when the last time they saw him and in what capacity they saw him.
Tip City, Ohio police say that charges against the 2 people arrested are pending. Police have not released their names.
An Indiana man is facing charges after he led police on a chase through 2 Kentucky counties, but police say it's what he was wearing that came as a big surprise. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Anderson County. According to the Anderson News, police arrested Michael Gibson yesterday. Police say he drove away from the 4-way stop-and-go in Lawrenceburg without paying for $30 worth of gas. Deputies and police chased him into Mercer County, and that's when his car got stuck in a creek. When police finally caught up to him, they say he was wearing women's pants, a woman's coat, and fuzzy boots with pink ribbons. Police say one of the cruisers had some damage, but no officers were injured. A Pulaski County man is recovering from injuries after his car was hit by a falling tree. It happened on Fallbush Road near the Nancy community. The sheriff's office says Timothy Irvin ran into a tree that fell just seconds before. The crash flattened the top of Irvin's car. He suffered head and arm injuries. The tree also pulled down some power lines, knocking out electricity to the area. It has since been restored. And in Laurel County, 2 people are in jail after deputies say they crashed through a fence and then led police on a chase. Deputies arrested Whitney Darnell and Christopher Mason near Earl Howard Road, just south of London. Officers say Darnell went through a fence and then ran off. Deputies later found her and charged her with DUI. They later arrested Mason and charged him with public intoxication.
A small victory for a former Jefferson County bus driver. Christy Lawrence is accused of not doing anything to stop sexual activity between 2 students on her school bus. Today, a judge decided to give her attorneys a copy of the surveillance video showing the act. Her attorney told a Louisville TV station he thinks the video will prove that she is innocent. Lawrence was fired last October. She was arrested in January and charged with facilitation to sexual abuse. The judge will review the video in September to determine if it will be used at her trial. Actually felt like June out there today. Sunshine back in full force and temperatures climbing into the 80s.
But storm chances increase as we head into the weekend, and the humidity is making a comeback. Meteorologist Jim Caldwell has a first look at your forecast. I guess we should have expected it, right?
It's about that time of year to start getting in on that type of activity, and we're going to see that humidity increase in the coming days. The heat finally showing up. It's been pretty much missing all week long. There you see those low 80s right now showing up around us here in central Kentucky. A little cooler where the thicker clouds are located in southeastern Kentucky, down around the Harlan area. Even a few passing showers showing up as well, but generally it's all about the warmth. Here's what it looks like in Georgetown, and it says looks great. That's what Kyle Jackson says, one of our many WKYT weather watchers. You see the sun, a little bit of cloud cover, not bad at all, especially with that warmth now starting to kick in. So it's even a good day for this. Getting out and doing a little yard work as you head out this evening, mainly dry. I just keep that mention alive of an isolated shower or two because we could try to pop 1 or 2. Those chances are very, very small. And even as we head into your Friday and Saturday, we're talking isolated to maybe a few showers and thunderstorms creeping through the area. So you do have ample opportunity to get out there and do it. Do it a little earlier in the day. That way it's not quite as hot on you once we get over into the afternoon and evening hours because the heat will be a little more intense. It's not bad, but a little more intense in the coming days. We'll take a closer look at the entire forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Jim, thank you. It is another sign the bourbon industry is booming here in the Commonwealth. Just a few months after announcing plans for a new facility in Bullitt County, Four Roses Distillery broke ground on an expansion in Anderson County. The addition will double the company's size and production. WKYT's Hillary Thornton was at the groundbreaking ceremony in Lawrenceburg. It's a story that's new at 5:30.
It was a big day here at Four Roses Distillery, and leaders say it is the start of something special, not just for their company, but for this entire community and the state of Kentucky.
We're literally entering the golden age of bourbon. It's a $3 billion industry that's fueling the bluegrass economy. Bourbon today provides good-paying jobs for more than 15,000 Kentuckians, with a payroll of more than $700 million.
President of the Kentucky Distillers Association and Kentucky's Lieutenant Governor Crit Llewellyn joined local leaders and company officials to break ground on the addition of 2 buildings and new equipment in Anderson County, which officials say will double the size of the distillery and annual production. Leaders say the expansion is an investment of $34 million and will create more than a dozen new jobs.
The commitment that Four Roses is making here to Anderson County is just a blessing. The economic development, the creation of new jobs.
And the growth does not stop there. To store all of the increased production, Four Roses announced they will build 4 new warehouses at their Bullitt County warehouse and bottling facility.
We applaud Four Roses' continued partnership and investment, which will significantly enrich Anderson and Bullitt counties, as well as the entire Commonwealth.
Now, the expansion here in Anderson County is set to be complete in 2018, and those new warehouses are expected to be operational by the year 2022. In Anderson County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
The new warehouses in Bullitt County will cost $21 million, bringing the project total to $55 million.
In addition to bourbon, Kentucky is known worldwide for its great horse racing, and a lot of money is at stake this weekend with the Derby and Preakness winner going for a possible Triple Crown. Our good question: if American Pharoah wins the Belmont and takes the Triple Crown Saturday, how much is that worth? Well, a lot. 37 years have passed since the last Triple Crown winner. If American Pharoah wins Saturday, the money is enormous. The horse has already made his owners near $4 million. A win Saturday brings in another $800,000 from the Belmont purse. And if he races at the Breeders' Cup in October and wins, he'll take almost another $3 million. But that's just the start. Breeding experts estimate as a stallion, the next 5 to 6 years, he stands to be worth up to $100 million. And some believe once he's retired, American Pharoah will stand or breed at Coolmore's American subsidiary, Ashford Stud, in Versailles, Kentucky. If you have a good question, go to WKYT.com.
Still to come on WKYT News at 5:30, dozens of companies in the bluegrass met with job seekers this afternoon. Coming up, we'll tell you which companies are looking to hire. And it's been nearly 2 months since the Wildcats lost to Wisconsin in the Final Four, but this afternoon, Coach Calipari addressed the media. It's the first time since that game. What he had to say coming up.
I'm Sam Smith in Estill County, where an escaped inmate that's been on the run since Tuesday is captured by state police. Coming up at 6, we'll tell you all about this investigation.